More logo reviews today. My name is Andre Leroux. Let's begin. First up today, a lovely cat logo. It's wonderful. I love it. It's very close to being too generic, but it has a ton of character. I have the urge to give this guy a name. Very well done. Two small issues. One is the interaction between the cat and the circle. There is this tiny gap here. Compositionally, that's not great, and it can look a bit like a beheaded cat. I would either take the collar down to the edge of the circle or show a bit of cat below the collar. I like that you have the bell breaking out of the circle, activating the space around the circle. Try to retain that, and perhaps echo that breakout with the ears. The other thing is the font choice. It's not bad, but with so much character in the cat, it's a bit of a letdown to have a font that is bland. Next we have a Meatball Ninja. This is unfortunately unsuccessful on many levels. Kudos for trying to come up with something new, but it's weird anatomy, bad typography, and the message is unclear. A ninja is a skilled fighter, scary and stealthy and deadly. That's the attraction. A sleeping meatball ninja, I just don't know what you are trying to say. And look, I know very little about food. I can barely make a sandwich. So maybe meatballs come in different colors, but this meatball looks old. Way past its sell-by date, not appetizing, apart from the fact that I don't want to eat a ninja's head. Next up, a guessing game. See if you can see what this is. Okay, I'll show you the title. It's a letter B bowling logo. I got it after a while, but it took me a good 10 seconds to decipher the logo. At first I thought I should be looking for a bowling pin, so I thought this might be the head of the pin, and this, I don't know, maybe the crooked path that the ball followed to the pin. Maybe it's just me, maybe you guys can see it right away. If you can't, this is a person bowling. Here is the head, arms, butt, knee, leg. Apart from the anatomy being weird, this pose is not really a bowling pose. I guess you can throw the bowling ball down the alley any way you want, but if you want people to be able to read your logo, then the pose has to be a very obvious, recognizable bowling pose. Next, we have two logos uploaded by the same designer. We should not even have to talk about this, but let's talk about it. No, you cannot do this. Not on LogoGround and not outside of LogoGround either. You are not selling vector stock. You are selling unique, copyrightable, trademarkable logos. Never ever reuse any part of any logo. But for this designer, this is also the end of their LogoGround journey. We found this. At first, we thought it might be coincidental similarity, and we wanted to give the designer the benefit of the doubt. But then we overlaid the two designs and, yeah, ouch. Let's just move on to the next logo. Next up, a flaming guitar logo. I think this has potential, but as an illustration. If this is an illustration, then I like the subtle gradient here, and the yellow outline works well. This gradient here is no good. So here is your challenge. Do this again, but do the whole thing in one color. Okay, I'll be nice, two colors. You'll have to simplify it a lot to make it work in just two colors, but go for it. If you can pull it off, you might get a good logo out of it. Just be careful, because flaming guitar logos have been done before. You'll have to take note of what's out there, so that you can do something different. Good luck with it. Next, a lion logo, a marching lion. I'm not a lion expert, but that's a weird pose for a lion. That leg kicking up like that just isn't very lion-like. The anatomy overall is not very lion-like. One thing that I love in this logo is the way you did the back leg here. That is brilliant. A really creative solution. Well done. Actually, the whole back half of the lion is good to go. The anatomical problems are here. Next, not a bad design, a wolf and letter T combination. Your vector file is excellent, very clean, no unnecessary nodes, etc. Professionally done, really a pleasure to look at. But that poor wolf, he looks really sad with the lower lip extended like that. I see what you were trying to do. This line is the center line connecting to the nose, but it can also look like your wolf is being a tantrum baby. And your description isn't up to par. It reads like keyword spam, like you wanted to get all those keywords in there. If your description is just a list of keywords with a phrase in front of it, like the design is suitable for, or this mark conveys, then we will likely decline it. In your descriptions, just describe the logo. It's a description. It should be descriptive. Next, a cool shovel, shield, tree logo. Very nice. The font could maybe be more interesting, but that might just be my personal taste. The problem with this one is this line. The shape of the shovel is slightly different from the shape of the shield. So this green line that separates the two is uneven. It's just not nice to look at. It bugs me, especially because it's completely unnecessary. The fix is to make one like the other. I would make the shield like the shovel, but making the shovel like the shield works too. Next, letter H, King, lawyer logo. Typo in lawyer there. To be fair, you spelled it correctly in your description, so maybe you attempted some wordplay in the title, and maybe I just don't get it, but it looks like a typo. For the logo itself, this to me is not a crown, it's a frog's foot. The H sits somewhat uncomfortably inside the bounding shape, like it was randomly placed instead of designed into the logo. And then this box here. You have lots of rounded corners everywhere and then a rectangle. It looks like you gave up on whatever it is you wanted down here and just put a rectangle over it. Next logo, two whales and what I think is a piece of jewelry. We're not going to talk about this one. I think there are many problems and it may be better to abandon this idea. What I do want to talk about is the typography. Maybe we should do a separate dedicated video about typography. We'll do that. For now, I'll just tell you about leading, tracking, and kerning. Leading is this, the gaps between lines of text. Tracking is this, the gaps between letters on the same line. Kerning is this, the individual gaps between letters. The problem with this logo is kerning, the individual gaps. Look at this, the P feels closer to the M than to the A. There's a whole lot of leg room for the P. Actually, the P isn't closer to the M. It's closer to the A than to the M. But all of that white space there makes it feel closer to the M. Fixing the kerning means making it feel right, even if it isn't. We are going to visually space the letters, even if mathematically they are unevenly spaced. Who cares about math, right? So the O feels closer to the C than to the M. I'm going to move the C and O to the right a bit. Actually, I want that C very slightly closer too. Then the gap between the M and P looks okay to me. And between the A, N, and Y all looks good. So I'm going to take the A, N, and Y and bring them to the left until I'm happy that the letters feel evenly spaced. Then always remember to center it again. Okay, that was a quick typography tutorial for you. That also brings us to the end of this video. More logos next time. Remember to subscribe, and thanks for watching.